It was a cold evening in New York City, the kind where the wind cuts through you and the streets feel lonelier than ever. Ethan wandered aimlessly along the bustling roads, his thoughts heavier than the city's evening rush. Lost in his own world of failures and regrets, he found himself drawn towards Central Park, a quiet refuge from the chaos of the streets. Little did he know, what awaited him there wasn't just solace, but a conversation that would change his life forever. And Ethan sat slumped on a park bench. His shoulders sagged under the weight of countless failures. Life had chipped away at him. A dead-end job, a failed business, and dreams that seemed so far out of reach they felt laughable. He gazed at the bare trees around him, their skeletal branches swaying in the wind, and wondered if they too felt the futility of trying to grow in an unkind world.
You know, you remind me of myself, sitting here like this.
Startled, Ethan looks up. He hadn't noticed a man approach, and is caught off guard by his sudden words.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means I've been where you are, tired, frustrated, and feeling like the world's stacked against me.
Ethan shrugs, his skepticism clear. He doesn't want to admit it, but the old man's words hit a little too close to home.
Yeah, well, I bet you didn't mess things up as badly as I have.
Oh, you'd be surprised. I've hit rock bottom more than once. Lost my business, my savings, and just about everything else I thought mattered. That's how I found myself on this bench years ago.
Roger speaks with a calmness that feels oddly reassuring, but Ethan still isn't convinced.
So what, you're going to tell me how you turned it all around? Some kind of miracle story?
Not a miracle, no. Just a lesson. One that changed my life. Want to hear it?
Ethan hesitates. Something about Roger's tone makes him curious, despite his doubts.
I guess it couldn't hurt.
There was this farmer I heard about. His land was barren. Nothing grew, no matter how hard he worked. He was ready to give up, convinced that no amount of effort would make a difference. Then, one evening, a traveler passed through and asked him, "Why the long face?"
Ethan raises an eyebrow. The mention of a farmer sounds like the start of one of those cliches he usually tunes out.
A farmer? Really?
Stick with me here. The farmer explained his struggles, pouring out all his frustrations. The traveler listened and said, "Do you see that oak tree in the distance?"
Roger leans forward slightly, his voice steady and deliberate.
And what? The tree gave him advice.
Not quite. The traveler said that oak didn't grow overnight. It started as a single acorn, barely noticeable. Every day, its roots dug a little deeper, its trunk grew a little stronger, and its branches stretched a little higher. Growth doesn't happen in leaps, my friend. It's in the steady, persistent grind.
Ethan leans forward, intrigued despite himself. The old man's story feels strangely relevant.
So what happened to the farmer?
The traveler left, but his words stayed with the farmer. With nothing more to lose, he went back to his field the next day, not expecting overnight miracles, but just taking one small step forward. Day after day, he worked, not perfectly but consistently, and eventually, his field flourished.
Ethan sits back, his expression thoughtful. He wants to believe the story, but his doubts linger.
Yeah, but it's not that simple. What if things still don't work out?
They might not right away. But here's what I know. Life doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards courage. Every small step builds momentum, even when it feels insignificant. Progress beats perfection every time.
Ethan looks away, the words sinking in. He doesn't respond immediately, lost in his own thoughts.
So, what? Just keep going, even if it feels pointless?
Exactly. When doubt whispers in your ear, remind yourself, you're stronger than the setbacks, smarter than the challenges, and closer than you think.
You make it sound so easy.
It's not easy, but it's worth it. Trust the process. You've got more in you than you realize. And remember, progress, not perfection.
Ethan watched Roger walk away, his figure slowly disappearing into the fading light. For a long time, he sat there, replaying every word the old man had said. And even longer, he wrestled with the meaning behind them. But as the quiet of the park settled around him, something shifted. Finally, he understood. Roger wasn't just talking about a farmer or an oak tree. For the first time in weeks, the weight on his shoulders feels lighter. He looks at the bare trees again, but this time they seem less lifeless, more patient.
Progress, not perfection.